What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wardcast. Every Monday, we bring you the latest in video game news, talk about survival horror, machinima, and what's going on at the Ward. I'm one of your hosts, Shaun Clark, alongside Jazz Rich.
Hello.
Nick Snapple Shooter.
Hello.
And Cody Howard.
Yee.
Hey, guess what, everybody? I'm still sick.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell that, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
We couldn't. I thought you were someone else.
Wow. So it's complicated because I feel better than last podcast, but I think I sound worse. So what the fuck is that? Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, that's me being all sick and shit. Okay, everybody, silence. The digital age of gaming is upon us. The streets will run red with blood. Children will die at the mere sight of what gaming has become, and in the ashes of it all, will you be to blame? Digital.
I'll be cheering.
The good, the bad, the ugly. Today, we lay it all out there for you, the listener. Regardless of your view, the all-digital future is right around the corner. Arm yourself with the facts and perspectives of your friendly neighborhood gamers. I'm talking about us.
I'm not friendly.
It's wow.
I want the children to die.
Sharpen your laser discs. Get out your boxes. Duct tape them together to form mallets and weaponry.
Pull out your weenus. But because of today's in-depth topic, we will be skipping the new segment and the what the fuck is that from game. But before we get into that, today is not only the day of the digital discussion, but also, as of the day that we're recording this, it is the day before Jazz's birthday. And on that note, we have to do this to you.
It was yesterday.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck it, we're doing it anyway.
All right, we're doing it.
3, 2, 1.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, big ol' little Jazz.
Copyright infringement.
Copyright strike at the end.
Who said copy birthday?
I said copyright strike at the end. Fuck you.
Oh, okay.
You had me convinced for a second. I was like, oh no.
I had to literally show my driver's license to Shayla because she thought I was lying when I said it was tomorrow.
You're always
she's so used to me like lying to her that she needed like my ID. She actually carded me.
She legitimately doesn't know when your birthday is because you're always fucking with her.
Friends are meant to be lied to. That's fine. I don't know when her birthday is either. Legit.
But, yeah, I also want to point out that this is Jazz's 25th episode of the Wardcast in a row.
I thought you were going to say 25th birthday.
And her 25th birthday.
We're going back in time.
But yeah, I figured what better time than now to say thank you for helping make the show what it is. I really appreciate you. And happy birthday, Jazz.
Okay, now I'm leaving.
Wow.
Yay.
I'd like to announce my retirement.
Blow out the invisible candles.
There is a real candle, but I can't blow it out.
What?
No, I don't want to.
Well, light it on fire and blow it out.
It's on fire.
Your house is going to be
light
on
it
fire
on double fire. I don't know.
What? No, I gotta live here.
We're all moving into this
unlike you,
dimension.
Shaun. I don't enjoy moving.
Oh yeah, it's my fucking favorite thing ever. It's not your birthday or anything, but how was your week, Nick?
It wasn't my birthday, so it kind of sucked. I'm on spring break.
Oh yeah.
It's winter.
So for all you kids and people of the age where you don't have to work over breaks, it's awesome. It's great. You get to do stuff that's not work in school. So
hey, things that are not work or school are good. Well, sometimes.
But
being murdered is not work or school, and that's not good.
No, it's not. I beat Dead Space 1 for the first time. So
yay! How was it?
It was fucking great. Except I found out after I beat the game that the PC version has like a 0.5 second like input delay, which is like really fucking hard to play around unless you get used to it, and I kind of didn't.
Oh, that sounds awful.
So when I booted up Dead Space 2 and it's like super fluid and fast and everything responds immediately, I was like, the fluid.
Well,
lighter fluid.
At least you played the other one first and didn't have to go back to that. That would have been bad.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I beat Call of Duty World War II because y'all been telling me to play the multiplayer, and then I saw it had a campaign. Saving Private Ryan, made by Sledgehammer Games. The game of the movie.
He's talking about Shoesting.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay. A lot of people.
I don't understand the street slang that kids use.
Wow.
Saving Ryan's Privates.
Oh,
That's what Beth just said.
Oh no.
Beth is here too, by the way.
Oh, good. Hello, Beth. Jazz.
What?
How was your week? I hear you did some early celebrating.
Yeah, because my sister and I always get with my mom to do like a dinner. Except this time I invited friends and cousins, so it was me and my mom and my sister. Because that's not really special. Yeah, and we had dinner and cake and things and played games and made fun of people. It was good.
Did you get good presents?
Yeah. I got a dragon egg.
Was there DVDs. A real dragon in it?
I don't know. I haven't broken it yet.
Are you gonna sit on it and wait for it to hatch?
Wow.
Sit on it. Like I can't come to work today. I'm trying to make the egg hatch.
I'm hatching an egg. Okay, give me.
It's a dragon egg.
It's health related. I can't.
You can ride the dragon to work that way.
It's my child.
If I have to learn how to ride it first.
How about you, Cody? How was your week?
Same as every other week. I mean, I guess I made an announcement that my album's coming out, so that's pretty neat. Forgot about that.
Well, that's
wow,
pretty
you
fucking
sound so
special.
excited about it.
I am excited. It's just a lot of work. Now it's the final, it's the 2-month sprint to wrap up everything, and that's more work than working on the album itself because there's a deadline in 2 months.
Everybody go. Are you going to be at Warped this year?
Huh?
Are you going to be performing at Warped this year?
Yeah, totally, bro.
Headlining.
I love playing at the non-existent concerts now.
Headlining tour in Colorado, California, Maine, New York.
I'm a giraffe.
Oh, I love that place.
Oh my god, who's from Colorado?
Shaun's from Colorado.
Colorado?
Yeah.
Colorado.
I'm a giraffe.
Oh, wow. Wow. How original.
That's what you're known for.
Oh. That's fine. There's worse things, I guess.
Like digital games? Great segue!
Hey! Shut your mouth. Close, but no. I had a week, motherfuckers.
Shaun, how was your week?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. It's
no,
very
Shaun, how
of
was
you.
your yesterday?
No, Shaun, how was your tomorrow?
You know what? I have been sick and miserable and fuck my life because for whatever reason, it's just like my sickness is peaking at the podcast. So that's fucking great.
Are you down with it though?
I am. Yeah, fuck you. My week was mostly still spent trying to rest and get better. I don't know if it's working. I thought it was, but now I have my doubts. But
did you try combining a green and a red herb together?
You know what?
Might need a blue one.
I couldn't find any. You can't identify the blue one. It's fine.
Yeah.
But still a little sick. But I'm getting there slowly. But maybe, surely, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. I've been continuing my Batman the Animated Series binge. So I'm on season 2 now. And I noticed another something odd. Something other than Batman refusing to punch. Which is really weird.
What?
But season 1 is 65 episodes. What the fuck is that?
Wait, what?
That's weird. Season 1 is 65 episodes.
Wait, season 1 of what?
Of Batman the Animated Series.
Really?
So the other 2 seasons are a normal 20-something episodes each. Who has a 65-episode season? Apparently
Anime.
Batman. It's fucking weird.
How long is each episode?
22-ish minutes.
Did they release it like every day for the summer or something?
They must have. That's the only thing that would explain it, but it's fucking weird. Like, it just kept going and going and going, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is this still season 1? What is happening? But yeah, 65 episodes. It's interesting. But I also have been playing Devil May Cry 5, which is amazing. Capcom continues to impress. They keep releasing hit after hit. They brought back Onimusha, they revitalized Resident Evil and Devil May Cry. I'm pretty impressed. Despite some stupid fuck-ups here and there, they're close to redemption.
I want to say one thing about Devil May Cry 5. I haven't played it or bought it, but I probably will. But
you should, it's good.
I happened upon a live stream of someone playing it, and because it said DMC5, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. it showed live action people like bouncing around with like blue or green screens and cardboard boxes, and it took me like 20 minutes to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Those cutscenes are fucking weird. But yeah, so like it's part of the digital deluxe or whatever fucking version, where like a lot of the cutscenes they put in the live action like mocap stuff. So that's what you were seeing. And you can play the game so that those are the cutscenes that play out instead of the actual in-game ones.
It was... I was watching it, I was like, is this where Capcom's budget went? No, my first thought was, this is really good animation. Like, too fucking good.
It looks like real Oh, it is. Yeah, it's terrible, but also pretty entertaining. But, yeah. Good job, Capcom. Keep doing it. We'll see what happens with RE3 Remake.
Crapcom.
I'm watching you motherfuckers. Don't fuck it up.
It's not Crapcom anymore.
If they make a RE3 remake,
Capcom is back!
You like that game, you shut your mouth. It's fine.
It's true.
But,
I mean, it's the only game you spent 80 hours.
Oh, God. You could have beaten, like, the entire Resident Evil franchise in the span of time it took you to beat 3.
No, because I would have had to beat 3 to beat the entire franchise,
you know
therefore making this point
what? You're right.
Invalid.
God damn it.
A good comparison where she could have got halfway through The Witcher 3's campaign in that time.
Yep. Shit, if you just did the story, you could have beat The Witcher, like, twice.
You know, there's only one thing left to do for you now with RE3. Run out the timer.
There you go.
See if it goes above 99.
It probably maxes out at 99, to be honest, because who the fuck would ever know?
Well, we can now update we can have a little update on the RE3 wiki page if Jazz invests.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what to do, Jazz.
I don't wear vests.
What?
Yeah, I'm not in vests.
Oh, Jesus. But I beat Devil May Cry 5. It was super good. It's everything it needed to be. The game looks fantastic on the RE engine. It plays better than ever. It's fairly long. They brought back the voice cast from the other games. They fucking did a really, really good job on it. And
I was about to say something, but then it would have been a spoiler, so I can't say that.
Yeah, don't spoil.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't spoil it for me, but don't spoil everybody
I'll PM
else.
you.
There you go. There you go.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, that's our thing. We'll talk later. Don't worry about it. Guess what time it is?
Time for some news.
Nope, it's time. It's time to talk about what's next for gaming. After that, we'll cover updates at the end of the show as we usually do. So if you don't give a shit about the future of gaming, shame on you, but also you may skip to the end, I guess. But spoiler alert, I've still been sick, so I didn't get jack shit done, but we'll go over that later. Alright, so the reason for this discussion is simply to take a look at what gaming used to look like, what it looks like now, and kind of where it's going. The idea here isn't to prove a point or to argue about what's better or worse. We're here to kind of give our perspectives on gaming today, digital games, physical games, pros and cons, and to just generally get as much information out to as many people as possible so that they have as clear of an understanding as possible when they purchase their games. Some people don't know what they're buying into when they buy digital. Some people really don't give a shit, and some are well informed and embrace it. So everyone who knows me, I'm pro-physical, and Nick is as well, right, Nick? Pretty much.
Fuck your garbage DRM EA.
Wow. So that's a yes. Cody is pro-digital, and Jazz is basically indifferent. Is that fair to say?
I'm a pro at hockey.
You're a pro-indifferent person.
So it's two people versus me. Gotcha.
There's no.
Well, you have like 10 minutes to convince Jazz behind the scenes.
There's no verses. We're just here to discuss.
I'll be here reading a book.
The state of gaming.
There's a secret versus.
Hey, if you can convince me that digital is the way to go,
I'm not here to
I'm all
convince
for
anyone.
it.
I just know that no matter what I say, people are gonna be like, "No, you're wrong."
You're just gonna get shadowed by everyone.
Can I say if Cody is in a secret versus by himself, is it a uni versus?
Oh, that's good.
Nah. Okay, that's my contribution. I can't say that fucking word. Contribution.
I thought it was a good mixture of opinions and experiences, but apparently I'm in the minority.
It's an even balance.
There's
not even
balanced. Like this is
Cody's like Hodor holding the door back.
We're not here to prove a specific point. I'm not here to tell you that digital is the worst thing in the world, even though I think a lot of it is garbage. It's probably going to come across as that, but that's not my intention. I'm simply going to point out all the facts that I've come across. And yeah, that's all that's going to be. And I want the same thing from you guys. I want your perspectives and your opinions, and it's not a fight. There will be no winner.
I did research last week, lost my research, so you probably have more than I have, because I only prepared, like, not even a few hours ago.
I didn't prepare at all.
Wow, Jazz wins.
It's like writing a term paper the night before.
So, let's start by breaking down kind of what the difference is. Some of this is going to be super duper obvious, but I want to cover the basics. So, in today's gaming climate, you have two options. You have digital and you have physical. Soon you'll have a third, streaming. So physical is the game media printed on disc, obviously. You buy from a retailer of some kind, and in turn you own that product to do with what you will. Play it, sell it, piss on it, eat it, whatever, it's yours. You pay the price to own material goods. That's physical. Digital is an intangible media. I mean, it's the same content you would purchase on disc, but instead of paying for goods, you're paying for a service. When you, quote, buy a digital item, you are paying for a license that is subject to the terms of the agreement that you agree when you make your payment. You do
not with all things, though.
For games. We're talking about games. For games, this is true.
I know, but you're just it's the way you're wording it. It's just like you're making it sound like all digital you don't own and it's all licensed, but that's not true.
I'm talking about just a game that you go to a store and you buy.
I'm just trying to clarify. It's not all digital.
The only difference would be GOG.
Before we go into anything else, let me just finish the thing. So let me reset a little bit. Digital is an intangible media. It is the same content you would purchase on disc, but instead of paying for goods, you are paying for a service. When you buy a digital item, you are paying for a license that is subject to the terms of the agreement you agree to when you make payment. You do not own this item. There is a very important distinction there. One option allows you to buy and own a product, and one allows you to use it subject to the terms of the distributor. There are two items pulled from the terms of agreement from Sony you should be aware of when you purchase digital. Item 1, warranty, disclaimer, and liability limitations. Licensor may, at its sole discretion, discontinue supporting the software at any time, and licensor has no liability for such discontinuance. Item 2, grant of license. The software is licensed to you, not sold. After the authorized release date, licensor grants you to a limited, non-exclusive license to use the software for personal use on your PlayStation system. So that's taken from the terms of service for PlayStation. When you go and you buy a digital game, that's what you're agreeing to. It specifically notates that you are not buying an item. It's being licensed to you. So that's why I said that. That's why it came across so matter of fact. Like you're not getting an item. That's because that was pulled directly from the terms of service.
Now, how many of the Xbox did you read?
I did. I figured it'd be the same. Is it not the same for Xbox?
The Xbox. Oh my God, the Xbox terms of usage agreement and all that stuff. They have so many different types of services.
But so gaming. Here's the thing. Like I'm not talking about services. I'm talking about
pages.
I'm talking about just straight buying a video game. No special services or Games Pass or anything like that.
Yeah, like as far as I got when I read it, all 5 different pages or more was the gist of it. They said you can play this as much as you want, but if you get banned, it's gone. So it's a licensed download. You get banned, you're fucked.
Well, yeah, of course you can play it as much as you want, but you don't own it.
That's what I'm saying. If you get banned, you're screwed because it's a license.
Well, yeah. So the problem is, like, the key emphasis on that is that they very specifically state you do not own this product. So, like, that's
right.
That's one of the biggest things that I want to inform people on. Like, digital versus physical. When you buy physical, you are owning a product. You have physical ownership over that product.
Mostly.
No, you do. Sure, they're still licensing with software, of course, but you're still getting Like if you put in your disc into your Xbox system or your PlayStation or whatever, not connected to the internet, you can use it. You own it, and nobody can take that away from you. But when you buy,
if you don't have internet and you put in the Spyro Reignited trilogy, you can play Spyro 2 and 3.
Exceptions. There's exceptions.
We're talking about the ideal.
That's why I said mostly.
Yeah, we're talking about the. There's going to be. There's always going to be caveats, right? I mean, it's not going to work for every single thing, especially when even physical media is directly tied in directly with digital.
I don't want to leave anything out.
They are intertwined, so that is going to affect some games. There's games as a service, like you can go and buy Overwatch. That's a games as a service game. It's directly connected to the internet, so they can take it away from you. Eventually, it's going to shut down.
Which I think is odd. It's because Spyro isn't directly connected to the internet, but yet you have to download 2 and 3 when you buy Reignited.
That's a whole nother fucking piece of shit thing. But yeah. So like, just I want everybody to be clear on what that's saying, right? It's two very different things. One thing you're buying and owning. One thing you're licensing, and you do not own. It's a glorified rental based on their terms. That could be a 20-year rental, depending on how things pan out. Like, who knows? It could be something that lasts a generation. It could be something that is taken away from you because of licensing issues with music or an actor or whatever reason they have to pull it away from you. You're agreeing to that being okay. Because it's a license, you don't own it. So that's a big deal. But I just wanted to make the distinction between the two.
That's why I interjected. I was just like, just be aware. Not all physical media is purely physical either.
No, yeah, for sure.
Just in case you didn't bring that up. That's why I was like...
Well, we'll talk about games as a service and stuff like that later. In my opinion, I mean, it's a completely different thing. You know, sure, yes, they're games, but it's like an MMO. You know, it's like... Obviously you're paying for that monthly and you know, eventually it's going to go away because it's an online experience. You know, it's not just a game you pick up, you throw in your system and you play it whenever you want to.
Yeah, but it's still physical, so it still falls under that.
I think a better distinction would be to discern between what games it makes sense to have internet like update related stuff, because like you can't have CS:GO on a disc, for example, I don't think reliably, because it's an online game, there's balancing. But if it's a single player game or something like that, then I firmly believe like there is no reason that there should be constant, you know, you have to be online, you have to constantly update it, you have to constantly get like patches and stuff. I don't think there's an excuse for that, because if it's a single player game, it doesn't need to be, you know, updated and balanced unless, you know, they really fucked up something.
Yeah,
right. But that's,
and I'm not saying that you're gonna get like a complete pristine game on disc. You're not. You're going to get a busted-ass, bare-bones, glitchy-ass piece of shit on that disc, but at least you have it.
At least no one can take it away from you. Busted-ass game.
Yeah, it's better than fucking nothing, in my opinion, because even with that disc, you still connect to the internet and you get all the benefits of a full-fledged game. But if that goes away, well, in my opinion, when that goes away, because eventually one day it will...
It's the same with physical. I mean, nothing lasts forever. There is disc rot.
So disc rot is going to happen a lot long after a network goes down. But we'll get into that later. It's fine. It's a complicated thing. But so the third option, which is right around the corner, is streaming media. Since it's a new medium, I don't have exact terms and conditions, but being that this is still a digital format, they should be more or less the same. So the difference here is that instead of downloading a game to your system, which has some benefits over streaming, the game is being broadcast directly to your system in real time as you play. And that,
yeah, well, streaming is essentially rental, like you say digital should. But
it functions the same way as digital.
You pay a monthly thing and you stream it to you.
Yeah.
So it's rental essentially.
It's a little bit more limited than digital, but it functions somewhat the same. But that's where we're going. That's not even really what we're going to be talking about for the most part today, just because it's not now.
Streaming games is fucking stupid.
But I mean, digital's paving the way for that, which is part of why, you know, I want to talk about this stuff, because funding digital is showing publishers and developers that this is the kind of media that we want to consume is digital
Yeah, but there's
media.
a difference between download and stream.
There is, but it's the same. It's basically the same content. The delivery method is different, but you're still paying for a license.
One's shittier than the other.
100%.
Streaming is shittier than download.
You're right. Like I said, you know, digital has benefits over streaming, but they're both digital content.
Yes.
They're both subject to the same license agreements. It's just even more limited. But the problem is, as we fund digital moving forward into streaming, like, it's still reflecting sales that we as consumers want a digital format. And as developers, they're looking at streaming as a way to fulfill that need, which is digital content. It's just a different delivery method. It's just fucking worse. But we're funding that initiative basically by paying for digital. We're showing them that that's what we want.
Here's the thing. I will pay for digital and I will be fine with digital, but paying for streaming, that's see, that's something I won't pay. So they could be like, well, yeah, this is the way it's going. But as long as people don't go, oh yeah, let's go and pay for all the streaming stuff, which people will, because the majority of people aren't informed. So,
well, we're talking about turning games into something like Netflix, where I imagine it wouldn't be per game.
Well,
right,
even,
but it wouldn't be
that's
like
kind of unfair too, because like we kind of brought up Netflix before in conversation, but I feel like that's kind of unfair because Netflix is kind of like a rotating, like, you get these specific movies, you're not in control. It's a rotating thing. You get whatever they want to give to you, which I don't really think. I think services like that are going to exist, but I think you're still going to have a major platform where you can just buy whatever the hell you want to and stream it directly to your system.
Amazon?
I think saying that Netflix is just kind of a little bit misleading is all.
Well, I guess my perception of what would make sense if because what we talked about was, you know, people don't want to necessarily, you know, buy a game and then keep it forever or whatever. People just want to buy the newest game. They want to play it when it comes out. You know, the new Call of Duty comes out, you get your 2 months maybe of game time. Then the new expansion comes out, you buy that, play that, and then the next year it's like you don't even remember the one before it because whatever. If it's like that, then it would make sense for it to have some kind of rotating aspect to it where it's like, well, you get to, you know, pay $20 a month and you get to play all these new games, you know, stream them. You don't own them, but you get to stream them for the month that they're here because they're new and you want them now. And then later on, it's like, well, you know, if you still want it, you can buy a physical copy or something, or buy a digital copy you actually own. But the stream service itself would rotate to fit whatever, you know, the newest thing is. That's kind of what I thought it would.
That aspect, like using that technology for that purpose, I feel is a fantastic idea. But it should be in combination with something that you can buy and own rather than just license.
Totally. Because essentially what you're doing there is it makes sense for like newer, especially multiplayer AAA titles that you have to, like, that are most popular on day one. It makes sense for that because you pay your $20, you get to play it, you get to have fun with it. You don't have to shell out, you know, 60 or 120, however much these ridiculous digital deluxe editions cost. You just you pay for your playtime. You pay for the fact of, I want to play this new game with all my friends and everyone when it's hot, when the player count is high. And then after it's gone, if I really still want to play it, I can buy it. If I don't, I don't. I just had my rental experience of game time for that month or however long I played.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially Xbox Games Pass. I mean, that's what I do. Every Xbox exclusive comes out, I play it day one. I pay that $10 a month. And when it's done, I'm just like, okay, you know, it'll be there forever, but I can still buy a copy if I want a copy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Game Pass is a fucking, like, awesome thing. I just feel like it would just be better as a companion thing rather than where we're moving as an industry. For obvious reasons,
well, I mean,
like moving into streaming.
It could still be a companion thing.
Moving into streaming, like I said before, is a symptom of supporting digital. Where, like, this, we've kind of built up to this. It's like we started with DLC and season passes, and then we turned into like games as a service and digital games, and it just, like, it keeps escalating.
Well, yeah, like, but I mean, it didn't start
because
just
the companies...
then. People have been supporting digital since, you know, computers have not been invented, but since the times of LimeWire and stuff.
Well, yeah, but that's more PC shit. I'm talking about console gaming. Console gaming started out way different than that. Digital didn't have any part of what gaming was on the console. And that's why you liked console. Like, the whole purpose of going to console in the first place is because it's not a fucking PC. You know what you're getting into. It's quick. It's easy. You buy a game, you put the disc or the cartridge
PC has
in there,
better
and you
stuff.
play it. I mean, that's debatable.
Well, it depends on what you mean by stuff, like exclusives and stuff, like maybe, but what like, okay, we're discussing, we're talking from a consumer standpoint on physical and digital media, media specifically games. And if we're discussing and we're trying to figure out what would make sense moving forward and what's good or bad based on a general consumer's needs. And the idea behind purchasing games in either format is largely related to what you personally want to get out of the game, obviously. When you buy a disc that you can keep, you are paying for the physical item of the disc, and you're also you're also paying for the longevity of the item that you're paying for. You're paying for the aspect that I want to have this, on my shelf, in my box, in storage for years, whatever, that I can later come back to it, if hopefully the hardware still supports it, whatever. But you're paying for the idea that you want possession of it that is not directly tied to whatever business or company is essentially responsible for supporting it. Or with regards to digital, even with something as Steam or GOG, you're still reliant on their service. Sure, on GOG and even on Steam, I think you can download it and put it on an offline computer that you can disconnect from the internet with Steam, or just download a file that has no DRM. You can put it on your flash drive, you can burn it to a CD or a DVD, and you can just have that. You can make a physical item out of your file because you own a file. But when it comes to marketplaces like Uplay and Steam, you don't own the files themselves. You own a license to access those files and use them as your license dictates. And I feel like that's the aspect that gives you less user control over it, and that's where it kind of keeps going forward. Well, if you own a license to access it, you also don't own, or if you do not own the rights to modify these files, because in some games modding is considered cheating, or modding is considered, whatever. You can modify them, but in some games, but if your license gives you limited freedoms on something that you have purchased, that is where I feel people have a problem. People like me, people like Shaun, have a problem with the idea that I would like to, like you said, I would like to buy something that I can do whatever I want with at that point in terms of a game. I like having a disc, not because discs are pretty to look at, although they are, but because 10 years from now, if I still have, my PS1 or GameCube or Wii or whatever, I can put the disc in and play it and have fun with it. And that's great. And it's awesome. And I bought it, and my money has invested in that. When I buy a digital copy, I am putting the control into their hands on whether or not I'll be able to have it, and whether they choose to because it's beneficial for them, or they want to help me feel like I'm in control, they can choose later to give me the file or give me access to the file in whatever way they feel. But that I'm rescinding control to them. And that's I feel the biggest issue, is that as a consumer, you're allowing your control over the product you paid money for to be less and less on your terms.
So we kind of already started going into this, but so I was trying to come up with like a structured format to kind of make this a little bit easier, but I came to the conclusion that this would kind of just be more constructive as like an open mic, kind of like we're doing now, but just kind of bringing up general points, whether it's general conversation of the topic, like a criticism or a defense, and these all will bring up additional talking points that we can kind of see each other's perspectives. I have a couple of specific things that I want to bring up, as I'm sure you guys do as well. The goal here is to simply share our perspectives and knowledge on both sides. I feel like we're both kind of getting a little bit defensive, and that's not what I want. This isn't like I said, several times over, this isn't a battle. At the end of this, I don't want there to be a winner or a loser. I just want your guys' perspectives and just whatever knowledge you have to bring to the table. So we'll kind of take a step back and just be a little bit less confrontational about it. But I'll start off by kind of explaining why I feel physical is important. So I've been playing and collecting games for many, many years, and I've noticed a lot of inconveniences that started popping up since like the Xbox 360 debuted. And the inconveniences and complaints that I've had continue to kind of grow and grow until those small things started to become basically problems, in my opinion. At first it was like an update here, some DLC there, a multiplayer server shutting down or whatever. But then we start looking at like multiple season passes for a single game. Games as a service, which is essentially a game that's around for a while and then it's gone. You know, mandatory installs on games, and most importantly, not even owning the game we pay for. Like, that's my biggest problem. But being a gamer across several console generations that use physical media, I can't help but feel like it's basically just going downhill. When games were entirely on disc, you know, you bought the game, you owned it, all of it, no hidden fees, no season pass, no DLC, all the content for the game was right there, you know, on the disc, and you earned it. You know, you unlocked content by playing the game. It was fun. Like, it wasn't like, oh, fuck, you know, season pass number 3, guess I got to pay another $30 to get these fucking characters. You know, that's not enjoyable or rewarding. It's frustrating. Developers spent more time making sure games ran well because there was no patching. You know, they had to do that. They had to make sure that everything was ready to go. They couldn't go back and fix it later. You know, you had to make sure you made a quality fucking game, not some broke shit you can fix as people complain about it. You know, things were just simpler and, to me, more fun. You didn't have to worry about a game disappearing or getting broken through a patch, or, you know, missing events and content in the 500 games that are games as a service now that you don't have time to invest in. You know, from my perspective, things have just been getting worse and more complicated, and it looks like that's coming to a peak. But that's kind of generally where I'm coming from. There are some, you know, pretty solid things about digital that I'm sure you know, Cody, will touch on and let us know. But
I honestly can't remember any of my points.
Any of them?
Not any of them. I have points, but it's just
like I mean, I for one know that there's positives for digital. There just is. But from my perspective, it doesn't seem like it's worth the cost. You know, we're paying for convenience and we're losing our rights to own the game, and we're contributing to, we're feeding the machine that's making things worse. Like I said, like console games used to be really basic, you know, and that was the appeal. You buy a game, you put it in, it works. There's no updates. Right. There's nothing more to it, and that's why you went console. But then very, very slowly, you know, things just got worse and worse. Like I said, DLC evolved. You know, like I feel like Xbox kind of initiated things. Like, there was very basic DLC on the original Xbox, and it was mostly free stuff. And then from there, you know, you go into Xbox 360, DLC starts cropping up.
But are we limiting this to console though? Because I'm a bit confused on the rules here.
It is everything.
I tried bringing up PC, and then Nick's like, well, we're talking about consoles. And I'm like, well...
No, we're talking about everything.
I didn't say that we're not talking about console. I meant a distinction between, this isn't... Whether or not you prefer your platform of choice to be PC or whatever, digital versus physical, I feel like the argument is still rather similar. That's all I was trying to say.
No, this is gaming as a whole. I mean, PC gaming is a different beast because, I mean, it's always been different, and there's always been kind of these things going on. Like, you look at PC gaming where you used to go to a store and you used to buy physical disc and you install that on your system and you play it. But like on a PC, you've always had to continuously upgrade your system to run games, and then games would fall off. Like, as your system got more and more powerful, it would stop running older games. So I mean, it's kind of a different situation, but
that's kind of like my point is, how do I say this? I'm trying to not make it into a heated debate, but I can't help but to sit here and feel like we're regurgitating the same thing, because there's so many, like you're saying, you know, it's a whole different beast, but there's so many factors to the market itself that I feel like I can't get into, because we'll get into it. If we did get into it, it'd take forever. And doing, research last week, I'm just sitting here like when I messaged you about it specifically, I said, there's so many factors to this to where it's almost entirely pointless to even debate about anymore. Like, I get the point, the whole trading rights for convenience thing. I get that, and that is important. And I stick by you on that. But there's so many factors to the situation of like pros and cons that the pros and cons, we're trying to simplify something that's not simple.
Well, no, that's the problem. The problem is that it's very complicated and nobody understands what it is and what's happening and where we're going. I mean, to me, PC is like, again, it's all part of the same industry, but PC is, it's always been console and PC kind of separate. Like they're not really competitive against each other.
They're not competing against each other, yeah.
They're different. But the sales, of course, and that's part of it too. Like all the sales that are being generated through PC are also pooling into, because PC's been digital
PC
for how long?
Will affect consoles will affect PC
yeah,
sales.
PC's been digital for many, many years. Digital pretty much only for the most part, like 90% digital only. And all the money generated through PC is also going into the developers' pockets, and that's filling up a large portion of the sales numbers that we're looking at when we're looking at the decline of physical and digital and why the market is shifting from physical to digital to streaming.
Yes.
So, I mean, true. I agree with you. It's just, I feel like we're losing the option to keep it simple when we're, that's why I'm looking more at like the console side of it, because like that was the simple way to get into games and just game and not have to stress out about all this complicated bullshit. But even that element is going away. Like current generation systems got a fucking upgrade. Now there's the Xbox One S and the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's like now it's turning into a PC, and now all the video games that you're playing on those systems are going to digital, just like PC, and you're getting the patches just like PC. Like it's turning into the same fucking thing, and that's a problem.
I think that it would make sense for us to also give our because obviously the debate is kind of how can I put this? There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of business factors, a lot of economic, whatever trends and things that companies will take. I feel like if all of us kind of presented our own personal experience or our own personal desires with what could be done going forward, it would.
Well, I thought that's what the point of this was anyway.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was. Hold on, that's what I was building into.
Yeah.
So the whole point of what I just kind of went over before we started getting into these other things was like, that's my perspective, and I want you guys to know, like, that's where I come from. That's kind of my background. Like I've always been a console gamer. This has been my experience. This is how I see, things moving, and it's going into a place that I don't like. And I feel like a lot of people don't even see. And I don't think a lot of people are even going to see it until it's too late, and they're getting their games removed from their account, and they're not understanding why, because they didn't realize when they bought that digital game.
Was that really the company's problem, or is that just ignorance of people?
If a chair disappears from your house, is it the fault of the guy who made the chair, or your fault for not realizing
that? No, that's bullshit. Don't even. Because that's talking about a fucking metaphysical, I can disappear chair.
No,
what's a digital footprint too?
No, it's just
that's not unrelated entirely.
Years from now, archaeologists are going to be digging out fucking cartridges and discs, going, "What the hell did they use these for?"
Oh, and what happened to my game? No, but
the archaeologists are all going to be VR too. So.
You're right.
Yeah.
But like, so you mentioned that, but like, the problem is, like, the developers and the publishers aren't handling this the way that they should be. They're doing it kind of shady. They're not being as upfront as they need to be. They should be more clear about what it means to buy digital.
Yes, but the consumer should also educate themselves before going and buying digital.
In today's fucking society, nobody reads fucking license agreements and stuff, and that's on the consumer.
You can't disregard them automatically.
As a corporation, as a company, as a company that's selling product to the masses, all these thousands of people that are playing games, they have a responsibility to communicate what they're selling and what you're buying, what you're getting out of that, and what it means. Just like losing games, like them, sure, you're agreeing to the terms that they can pull a game from you for any reason, whatever that may be. That could be, oh, hey, we want to make a new version of this game. We don't want you to have it anymore because we want you to buy it again. Is that likely? Probably not. But there's other factors, like a licensing thing falls through, like a licensing with, say, a Marvel game. They no longer have the license with Marvel, but it's a Marvel game. Can they sell it without the license? Of course they can't. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to take that away from you. And this has happened with Marvel versus Capcom Origins, I think it was, on Xbox 360, where they lost the license for Marvel and they just pulled that game out of everybody's account. Did they make a post?
The thing.
But here's the problem. Did they make a post?
Xbox.
Did they
make a post?
No, they didn't. They didn't make a post that said, hey, everybody, our contract is no longer valid, so we'll be removing this game from your account on X date. You should be aware of that. But instead,
here's the thing,
games are just sliding out of your account periodically that you're not going to know about until you go to play it. That is irresponsible. And most people, I guarantee, won't know why. They're like, oh, I bought that game. I own it, right? No, you don't.
The situation you're describing is exactly what happened to Scott Pilgrim, correct?
Exact same thing, yes.
I can go on my Xbox 360 and download Scott Pilgrim. I did a few weeks ago.
I just checked before this podcast, and it's not on my account, and I couldn't find it.
If you go to your downloads history, and you go on there, you can download it. I still have the rights to my game. I can still play my game. You just can't buy it anymore.
I tried to pull up so there's like 20 games that were pulled that I'm aware of, and I couldn't find any of them. But even so, even if you have it, whatever, maybe that particular game doesn't qualify. But that doesn't change the fact that they have the right to do that. And things like that will happen. License agreements don't last forever. They're going to expire. Conflicts between two parties that work together on a project, maybe there's a conflict, maybe something happens and they don't want to renew a license. For whatever reason, they can pull that game from you. You agreed to it. And that's okay if you're agreeing to that, but the thing is, most people don't know that they're agreeing to it. They need to be a lot more public. But that's why they need to
educate themselves and just read it.
See, I disagree, though. They have a responsibility to let people know this is a big deal. You're selling something to terms
of service.
But you're selling something to a large market that don't understand this. They've been playing games, like a lot of people have been playing games for a long time, and this has never been a factor. Like, why would that change? When you make a large change like this, when you're completely changing the format and going from you own it to you don't own it, that's a big enough deal that you have a responsibility as a publisher or a developer to let people know that this is a big change that's being made. You should take a look at this. It's like, they didn't say anything about, hey, there's an important thing regarding, your rights to own content through us. You should read this document. That never happened.
But how did it not happen when there's the terms of service?
Well, okay,
because they didn't tell
anytime
people
you're going to argue, anytime you're going to argue against the consumer in terms of, well, the consumer should know what they're getting into, you have to keep in mind that when a consumer buys, that too, but also the fact that without the consumer buying the license and supporting the actual product, there would be no fucking license or product to sell, because that's the whole point, is that the reason you can't say, oh, fuck the consumer, if they don't understand when they pay for a ticket to see a movie that the ticket says in small print that they're only paying for half the movie, even though whatever, the consumer is not going to come back. The consumer is not, there is no incentive for the consumer to be like, oh, I bought a game from this company and now I just don't own it because their license is fucked up. Fuck that. I'm going to go buy a game I can actually keep. and support a company I actually like. And that is the consumer's freedom to do that, and that's why, in a capitalist society we have that freedom. But that doesn't make it a good business decision, and the more companies do it...
Well, I'm not saying it makes it a good business decision.
But you're saying that it's on the consumer to educate themselves. I agree with you. A consumer should be knowledgeable in what he's getting into, but that doesn't make the business decision wise or
I never said that.
Then what are you advocating for? Because
I'm saying that no one is 100% in the right. Businesses.
Well, the consumer is always right. He's paying money for a product. How is he not right for wanting something that he paid for?
Technically, yes, the consumer is always right, but both parties are 100% at fault.
Okay, I'm the consumer. I say, all right, Anthem, let's say Anthem launched Fix, and I go, wow, there should be less loot drop in the master gears you can get. And the majority goes, no, we don't want that. But then the developer's like, well, let's do that because the customer is always right. I go into a store and I say, hey, this candy bar is free now because the customer is always right.
Well, here's the thing. So let's take it back to video games. So just to give you an idea of how powerful the consumer is, like just this stupid bullshit with the Spider-Man game. How like Insomniac's constantly releasing all these fucking costumes for Spider-Man. Tons and tons of costumes, more than they needed to ever do. And that wasn't enough. Like people started to complain, oh, this Sam Raimi Spider-Man outfit isn't in the game. This is bullshit. You guys said that you'd take care of us and you give us what we want if we give you feedback and blah, blah, blah. This is bullshit. So what do? They give them what they wanted. They put that fucking Spider-Man costume in the game.
And that's great.
Because that is great, but that's the power of the consumer and
but that's
the
a
developer.
Plus side thing, though.
But the developer understands the importance, which is why they made that accommodation. Because like if they don't accommodate their fucking market, the people giving them money, they have no business. They're not going to sell anything. I guarantee you, if one of the publishers made a public statement that just straight out said, hey, by the way, everybody, you don't own any of the games that we've been selling you. You're just getting a license, but you don't own those. People would lose their fucking minds. I guarantee you. If you heard that, if you've been buying games for years and years and you just found out you don't own any of those and nobody told you that, whether it's your fault or not, you're going to freak the fuck out. And if everybody freaked the fuck out, guess what they're going to do? They're probably going to flip that shit around and make it so that you own it, because that's the power of the consumer.
Yes, I understand the power of the consumer, but the point that what I was asked to clarify then interrupted and said the consumer is always right, so I clearly couldn't make my point, which I'm kind of... Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I'm getting really annoyed that I'm being asked to make my point, not by you, Shaun, and then getting interrupted when I'm trying to make my point.
Sure. So real quick, so just going forward, like,
because I've not made a single point without being interrupted.
Yeah, just if somebody's talking, let them finish. I mean, again, there's no reason to cut off anybody, right? We're all here to share our perspectives and share information. And if we're cutting each other off, we're not doing that. So go ahead.
All right, because I've already not made a single point yet, and I'm flustered right now.
No, you're fine. I actually had a part coming up that was actually going to be specifically addressed to you to make specific points, but we derailed a couple times. So, but
yeah,
just so that you know. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get like my shit together right now because I'm just really annoyed and really flustered.
Don't get frustrated. Like I said, this isn't a competition. Well, nobody's going to win. Like
it's not that it's that I'm seeing as a competition. I've just not had a chance to talk at all.
Yeah, go for it, man. It's all you.
And my point was earlier, before the whole customer is always right, fucking whatever kicked in, is there's a balance. And it's the responsibility of both consumer and person or developer / publisher or whoever, because that's a whole thing in and of itself. It's their responsibility to not fuck over the customer. But at the same time, it is the customer's responsibility to educate themselves what they're getting into. Yes, I'm not saying that every game should have big, bold print at the top of everything ever that says, you do not own this if it is digital. If you are getting into something digital, there are terms of services when you sign up for stuff like this. They can be read. If that is skipped, then yes, which 99% of people skip 99% of, you know, user license agreements and, you know, stuff like that. That's honestly, like, they wrote that out. They took the time to do that. And it does say in there, while it's not in big bold print, that you don't own you still can read it. It's still being presented to the consumer and still being able to be like, yes, I know what I'm getting into now. But people would rather skip it and then complain later. So that's user error. That is not specifically 100% the company's fault. Well, yes, it is shitty, and I agree that it is shitty, and it shouldn't be a thing. People still skip it and vote with their wallets, whether it is by knowledgeable votes or ignorant votes by skipping, you know, reading what you're getting into. And if someone complains and goes, I can switch to physical media, then yes, let's switch to physical media. Let's vote with our wallets by physical copies sold instead of digital copies sold. They have numbers for that. So, but everyone's, how do I say it? When so many people buy physical and so many people buy digital, they're gonna go the way of whatever one sells the most. That's how business works. They're gonna chase the trend of whatever is going on now. And that was the point. And that of itself was one of the points I was trying to make earlier, because I couldn't remember the rest because I got interrupted by repeating the same thing over and over till I couldn't think of what I was trying to say. There you go.
So let me ask you something. Like, before things got out of control, day one, if all publishers said that, hey, this is the way it is. If you buy digital, you do not own this. You're subject to the terms of the license, just so that you guys know that's how it is. If you continue to buy physical, you will own it like you always have. Nothing will change.
Right.
Do you think that the market would go the way that it has?
No, it would be drastically different than 100% no. It would be drastically different from what it is today.
So that's my problem. So the reason for that, and they know that. I guarantee you they know that. It's the same reason why they're not telling you when they pull games from your account. They don't want you to freak out. They want you to follow the path that they have set, you know, for the company. You know, if they go digital only, guess what? That's more money. No more manufacturing, no more dealing with retailers. That's just pure profit. And then they have better control over the market and their price points.
That is 100% correct.
Those are all positives for the company. And that's what they want.
Yeah, but there's also factors in there, like, you know, licensing, you know, Marvel, like you said earlier, that is stuff not 100% in the company's control either. That's legal stuff that, you know, the companies, they could say, hey, let's go buy this back or whatever. But what if Marvel goes, no, we don't want to renew our license? That's not 100%, you know, on the company side. If that situation occurs, that's a factor of which nobody can really control.
Sure. But that's another reason why it's so important that they should communicate this clearly to people that are buying into that.
Yes,
you know,
yes, it is.
You should know as a consumer, these are the potential risks. This is a huge change in what you're used to. You're going from owning to not owning. So, like, the important thing, like, they shouldn't have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and break down every single thing. And like you said, big, bold letters on every box or whatever. Sure, of course, that doesn't make sense for anybody. But when you make changes that are this important and this impactful, you need to speak up and let people know what they're getting into. Otherwise, it's irresponsible.
And that's shitty on the company's end.
And it's just like going into streaming. I feel like Microsoft is pulling the same fucking shit. It's like, oh, you know, when they tried to roll out the Xbox One, they wanted to go all digital. And guess what?
Which was a mistake.
They made that completely public. Guess what happened? Everybody lost their fucking shit. They didn't want it. So slowly over time, they've been pushing just a little bit at a time, getting towards that same goal. And then now, guess what? The next system's going to be mainly digital and mainly streaming.
Yeah, but at the same time, the market since the 360 till now, in the past within 10 years, has changed drastically.
Yeah, the market has changed, but they're still trying to get to that end goal, and the problem is they're not doing it the right way. They're not being upfront about it like they were when they initially announced the Xbox One being all digital, because they're afraid of that same resistance. So instead, I mean, these are rumors, but I mean, it's pretty much rumors. Sure. But they're going to be releasing a discless Xbox One to get people comfortable with not having a disc, and to be going more into digital as we transition from the current gen into next gen. And instead of fully committing to a streaming box or a digital box, they're releasing 2 models. One that's going to have a disc tray just to give the people buying into it a little bit more comfortability. But at the end of the day, they're going to be pushing digital. I wouldn't be surprised if halfway into the life cycle of that system, they drop that model completely and it's just streaming. But they're not being upfront about it. They're fucking being shady, and they're just trying to weasel their way in to get
well, since it's all rumors, they have no reason to be upfront yet.
Because
if you were upfront now, then they'd reveal the console.
Sure.
Once you reveal the console, then you have to be upfront. You have no reason to be upfront if the thing doesn't exist yet.
Yeah,
to the public eye.
That's fair. But I still don't think they're going to be. But the thing is,
well,
like,
no,
they're not going to
really
even if they do explain it a little bit better the way that they should, they're still clearly, like, if these are confirmed, if they're doing the 2 models, they're still clearly trying to use that tactic to lure you into being comfortable because there's a disc tray. But at the end of the day, that's not their goal. They're not like, oh, we want to keep physical media around. They're like, we want to be digital. We want you to be comfortable getting into digital. And that's where we're going.
There's also a different viewpoint on that, and which is the Xbox One. While I love Xbox, and that's not hidden in any way possible, it didn't sell very well. It is sold.
Oh, the Xbox One, yeah.
Yeah, the Xbox One.
I mean, not selling well is a bit of a overstatement. I think it did well. It's just failing miserably compared to Sony.
Compared to the competition.
Yeah.
Like, even when the Switch came out, the Switch is like, boom, fucking huge. Sure. And it's like outdoes the Xbox One every month in terms of sales numbers. Because I don't watch TV, I don't watch movies. I play games and I watch and read news about games. So I'm in this all the time, 24/7. And the way I'm seeing it from a business perspective is not only for digital, but it's a way to, like, if you take out the disc tray out of the Xbox, that's one less factor in the Xbox itself that you have to spend money on to make. Therefore, you can produce a cheaper console, even though it's all digital, it'll still be cheaper because there's parts out of it that you're not spending money on. You can get it in the more homes faster because it'll be cheaper on retail.
Yeah, but if they just want to get it into homes faster and cheaper, they would just go straight digital streaming. But they're afraid to do that because they know that what happened with the Xbox One is a possibility.
Right.
I mean, it's no secret that the future is streaming, and they're going to want to go to that market. And if this is confirmed to be a real console, that's proof of that. So, like, if that's their intentions, why not be upfront? Let people know what they're buying into.
Because once again, I
understand why they're doing it, but it's wrong. It's fucked up. That's my problem. The whole digital thing, like the whole thing is just being approached in the wrong way, and that's a big part of why I don't fucking appreciate it. Other than just the obvious things that I've stated, as far as like not owning and things like that, and just the way that they're handling the situation has been shady from day one. Like, fucking be upfront. If people don't want to buy into it, they should have the facts to make that decision. They shouldn't be manipulated by what you do and do not decide to share with the public. It's just like the whole fucking Nintendo Switch thing with, like, releasing games that are on the cartridge but not. It's like you're selling a package deal that is advertised to have these games. So why are you selling a physical version with a little note that most people probably won't even notice that says, oh, by the way, half of this is going to be a digital download? Like, that's really fucking deceptive. Advertise what you're fucking selling. Like, that's a big deal that half the game isn't on the cartridge. If that's what you're going to do, put that shit big and bold on the box to let people know what they're fucking buying.
Yes.
Or don't release that physical edition to deceive people into buying something that they're not getting. Like, there's just a lot of deception kind of bullshit going on around the whole digital fucking transition, and it's really fucked up. And I think it's unfair, and it's helping to skew the market in the wrong direction. It's so shitty.
I agree, but like, it's not even just Microsoft. Like I said, every company is doing it, but there's a balance.
Microsoft is leading the charge, but 100%, yeah. If I was
leading the charge, but has the least consoles sold, so they have like one of the least things in the market to shift it. But yeah.
Yeah, if it seemed like I was trying to single out Microsoft, that's not the case at all. Like
no,
I said,
I'm just trying to clarify, not
charge,
for you, but for other people. It's
it's a general industry problem for sure.
Yes.
Again, like we were just talking about Nintendo doing a similar thing.
It's so ridiculous that there's so many factors, and like but the only thing I can really say right now, and I said it earlier, and I said it like 5 seconds ago because I'm fucking say dumb shit over and over again, is that there's a balance between voting with your wallet, company trust, and users educating themselves.
And convenience is a big piece of that.
Well, yeah, but convenience comes with the educating yourself part. Like, it's going to be convenient, but if you don't read up on it, you're still an idiot.
People that go for convenience are not the ones that are educating themselves, I promise you.
Wait, you lagged out for a second. Not the ones that are what?
People that are going for convenience are not the ones that are educating themselves.
God damn it. Every time you said not the ones that are, you keep cutting out for me.
It's fine. But hey Jazz.
Yes.
What's your perspective as someone kind of in the middle? What are some
on what?
What are some things that you like or dislike about like gaming in the past and kind of like the current generation? What's your experience in all this?
I miss being able to go to Blockbuster, rent a 64 game, go take it home and try it, and if I like it, I can go buy it myself later. I don't like the fact that they're making you choose one or the other, but I'm kind of biased because
you don't have to choose one or the other. I mean, like I said, Xbox Games Pass, you can essentially rent the games on Xbox.
I meant one or the other, like either rent or like buy, like rent as in like download digital. But I usually just go for whatever is cheaper. Like if a game is $80 for a physical copy and it's fucking like it's on sale for like $40 on
get the 40
or whatever, I'll get the 40, and then like later if I see the disc goes down, I'll get it just to have it because I don't.
Yes.
So you're
like I have the same games multiple times.
So I know that song, but so like you're okay though with that, like buying a game because it's cheaper on digital, even knowing that you don't own it, like just to have it to play with friends or whatever, just to have a good time, right?
I mean, personally, if I buy a fucking disc of like Call of Duty or something, chances are in the next 20 years, I'm going to lose it. So having like, I don't know if it was with Nick the other day. Nick, it might have been with you yesterday. I was like, I swear I have this game somewhere. And it was The Ship. I sent him a copy of The Ship on Steam because I had a gift copy. And I was like, whatever, it's a fun game to play with friends. And then I'm like, wait, did I just send you my copy or not? If I did, whatever, I'll just buy it again. It's fun to play with games, so I don't care. But like, I don't mind rebuying games as long as I can try it and I like it. Like if it's gonna be $20 on PS Store and $60 in store, I'll buy it on there. And if I don't like it, I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't fucking buy the disc. But don't take away the option of, if it's just stream and they stop making copies, then it's gonna suck because
that'll be the point where I'll probably just quit gaming altogether.
Well, what bugs me is like, what if you you're playing download games and I play like the sequel to a game and I'm like, oh, this is pretty fun, but I'd like to go back and play the first one, but my Xbox doesn't have a disc tray, so if I go buy the first game, which instantly tells me it's not going to be backwards compatible with games you already have, which is a complete waste. I don't know. They shouldn't eliminate anything. They should just like give everybody options of whatever they want. It's not like they can't afford it. And that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, that's the one good thing that Xbox has over a lot is they're backwards compatible. which they do state that they are trying their best to get every game they can backwards compatible. It's just they have to. What they mainly work on is updates.
Okay, like but no, like I know like the Xbox is like that, but what I was saying is like it's backwards compatible, as in like you, Cody, have a Xbox One,
yes,
right? And your games are all backwards compatible. Now you get an Xbox One S, which is a streaming with no disc tray. Then clearly it's not going to be backwards compatible, because where are you going to put the disc? Bam, you're going to have to spend $80 to get a fucking external drive.
Actually, they did handle that well, because I'm pretty sure if you put the disc in like your old model Xbox One and it verifies it, I think you can download it for free. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive on that.
The Xbox base model, the S and the X, talking, future-wise with no disc trays and whatnot, I could see where that would be a problem. But with all three current models of the Xbox One right now, if it is backwards compatible and you put your disc in it, LOL, it will read the disc. And like, say when you sent me that copy of Morrowind, if I put that in my Xbox, it will read it and it automatically upgrades it to the Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, and then after you do that, isn't it registered to your account? So like going forward into the diskless system, don't you have that technically digitally on your account?
I do not believe so, but that's the thing. That's why they would sell two models. Because why make backwards compatible when it works with the disc if you're going to go all digital? That would be dumb.
But the problem is that's the Xbox One initiative, and the Xbox One is about to be old news. So like they don't have to carry that forward into the next system. If digital's their focus, it doesn't make sense for them to continue to pursue something like that. You know what I mean? It would make more sense for them to just start adding all those old Xbox One games available to download on their digital-only system.
Well,
I don't want to interrupt. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I heard this from somebody. You know how they have this box that you can get where you can stream movies now? Like it's not like Netflix and shit. You can literally just stream movies, and you would like hook it up to your TV. I don't know what it is or what it's called.
I've heard of stuff like that.
It's like a stream box or something. I don't know. It's something like that. But like, so what I don't get is if you get the new console, you get the new system, and you have to you can re-download all the games on the new system because you have it on the account. Then what's the point of the new system? Why not just make a stream box for the Xbox in addition to the Xbox? Why make a whole new thing that basically limits you to either spend fucking 24 hours installing all the games you want to play, rather than just add on and just bam, you're done?
The answer to that is that there's a difference between streaming and download. And one, if you don't want to spend 800 hours downloading all your games, me with my 635 right now on Xbox, I have a 4 terabyte hard drive. I plug in the hard drive to the new system, boom, all my stuff loads. I don't have to download anything.
Yeah, but you have that. That's just
Well, initially the next generation system, I mean, it might support the previous library, maybe halfway into the system.
You're aware of the Xbox switching bosses, right?
Bosses?
Like Phil Spencer and
the
other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spencer!
Phil Spencer, and he's said this in many videos, when Xbox holds an event, he usually does interviews. And he goes out, and usually his interviews, he states this, and he's said this more than once, his plan with the Xbox, now I can't count Sony or Nintendo into this, it's strictly Xbox that I'm speaking on half of right now. His plan is no matter what model they release, no matter what, day one will be backwards compatible with your previous libraries. It's all going to be under one thing now. The reason why you upgrade is because games look nicer. And that's the only difference. You upgrade to the new models and get the new systems to get better graphics. So it's like upgrading a PC. You just go out and buy a better version of this, but everything will be whatnot. Like Devil May Cry 5 released, for example. My buddy Steve is playing on the base model Xbox. That thing looks like shit. That thing is complete garbage. do not ever buy a base model Xbox. I don't care if it's cheaper and it gives more sales to Microsoft. Don't ever buy a base model Xbox One. Steve
Mine
is
looks
playing.
fine.
I can't stand the look of it. Like, I play on the X and I look at Steve's and I hate it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you become accustomed to the differences,
Yeah,
you know.
But it's just like, Steve is playing Devil May Cry 5 on his new system. I don't have it, but I did see the ending, whatever, so I'm not going to spoil anything. I played the demo of Devil May Cry 5, and it runs flawlessly. Fucking, it's amazing. And I look at Steve's, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, look at your hair, fucking, like, you pixelated sack of shit. Maybe not Devil May Cry all so much, but definitely Monster Hunter for sure, where I noticed a huge difference. His whole game looks like mud. And I'm just like, wow, that looks terrible. So it's like, it will be backwards compatible. Your game will just be like, if you played on an older system, it'll just look like fucking shittier graphics is all.
So it's going to be 100% backwards compatible with Xbox One.
That's what Phil Spencer keeps saying. He says that's what his idea of bringing backwards compatible with the original Xbox games and the 360. He's like, yeah, we would start rolling that in the moment I was in charge. He's like, and that works fine. As he's like, the only difference is, because I don't know if you know how the X works compared to the S in the base model, in terms of like why it looks good and can play on those older systems.
No, I haven't used it.
Okay, so the thing is, there's inside each Xbox, starting with the S, so they can tell if you're using an SX, and if they can't detect anything, it's a base model, is that there's a detection in there that when you download or install a game or buy physical or whatever, it will tell what system you're running it on. So it provides it a special patch for that system to use its capabilities, to use its hardware. So, like, when I install a game like Tomb Raider, it's Xbox One X Enhanced, it can tell it's playing it on the X. Whether if you buy it, like, you buy Tomb Raider, you put it in the S. You buy Tomb Raider, you put it in the X. It'll tell you which one you're playing it on and give it a patch to where it looks better and can run on that system. Make sense?
Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
so that's
I
how
it can.
That's why everything's like being able to be playable. So all the stuff going forward will be back compatible, because it's not that it's the game itself. There's a special thing in each system that'll patch that game to run and look better.
I just wonder if they're going to use similar technology like they've been using for 360 games on Xbox One, with Xbox One going into Scarlet or whatever the new system is going to be. Because if that's the case, that's all well and good, but that's going to be a slow process. I mean, look how long it's taken them to get a somewhat reasonable library on Xbox One. You know, it's a really slow process, and they'll probably never be 100% backwards compatibility, so you're still kind of losing games here and there. Which will affect people in different ways. I mean, it could be your favorite games that aren't on there, or it might not affect you, but it's just kind of inconvenient that it's not a completely 100%, backwards compatibility thing.
Well, that's why I said that they're, oh god, I lost it. What was I trying to say? There's a base game thing. So, like, when the games come out for the Xbox One,
yeah, like comes in packages, like waves.
It's going to be how it's made, so you can still download it. It's from still the same Microsoft Xbox service, so as long as it's there, it'll be compatible with anything, because they're going to be using the same service system. Like,
so it is going to work the same way.
Yeah, it's just the only difference is you're buying, while it might not say Xbox One in the future, you're still just buying an upgraded model, but using the same service.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it is going to be backwards compatible. The reason why the 360 and the Xbox originals are taking time is because what they're doing is they're from scratch making patches to turn those games without affecting the disc itself or the original game's data. They're making patches that will amplify from 240p to 1080p 4K. That's all they're doing, and that they have to do that make a patch for the entire game.
Yeah.
So they're essentially making a secondary version patch from scratch of the entire game, but they use your disc or download as a verification of, yeah, this is the game, and all they do is like install the patch to make it look good.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's probably more than Sony's gonna do. So,
well, I can't speak on that. So, Nick, you got any points?
Yeah, Nick, I think you kind of echoed my.
I feel bad. I
feel
feel like I would like.
Like, what have you been seeing? Like, what's your kind of background and stuff like that, and pros and cons that you've been seeing?
Well, I grew up on PC mostly. I didn't have many consoles growing up, so I'm kind of used to the idea of like emulators and PC games and all that, and the freedom and user, I guess, input that comes with it. I've recently kind of been getting into console because, like you said, it is convenient. It is, you just buy a game, you pop it in, it works. You don't really have to finagle it too much. But something that I kind of miss when I play on console that on PC I've always had is, a PC, like, it's a computer, you can do stuff with it, you can fuck around with it. There's a lot more freedom. Yeah, you can do mods, you can install, your own custom stuff. You can, hell, just if you know how to fuck with, files, you can... The point is, there's a lot more options to you as a consumer and as a user on the PC that, a console is very much based. So you buy it, you put it in. It's simple, but it's also kind of streamlined and structured. So you don't have as much creative freedom as you would on a, computer.
Yeah.
And the thing that, to me, that's weird, that's kind of going the direction for consoles is that consoles are becoming more like computers now, because PC used to be like these, the updates and the whatever and the interaction and the online stuff. Consoles was always plug and play. But now that we see that, you buy a game, you put it in your console, it's not as simple anymore. There has to be patches, there has to be community stuff. You have to, write on Reddit and bitch about the developer not putting something in.
Spider-Man skins.
Yeah, you have to put in the fucking the
Sam Raimi.
The Sam Raimi. I want my Batman Beyond skin. I love Batman Beyond.
For Spider-Man?
Yes, for Spider-Man.
I want to see that.
That's my dream come true. But like, it's just weird because I always saw a console as, if I don't want to fuck around with anything, I just want to put in a disc and play. That's what I go for. And watching it go from that to this, like, okay, we released a game, but you need the internet, you need to download all these patches, and also the game has a bunch of problems, and we kind of need you, the audience, to tell us what's wrong with it and do our job for us. Like, it's weird. It's really weird seeing it go that direction. And I know it's not everyone. I know some games are released good, but I feel like owning a console now is slowly, like, not being as viable and as simple as it used to be. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's just because there's more options for people. Maybe because, you're able to, like, do more things on a console since, the hardware is updated and people want to do more things and, want to watch TV on it, install apps and all that. But
TV.
Yeah, like, didn't they advertise the Xbox One as like, oh, it's your media center now. It's not just a console.
Well, that's why it was called an Xbox One. And you know what happened to that guy? He got fired. And Phil Spencer.
Yeah, like, it's like you buy a $500 or $400 box to play games, and it can do everything.
It's like play games offline, get an Xbox 360. Fired.
Yeah, I'm so fucking happy that guy got fired. Fuck him.
That was such a fucking terrible business. I don't know what he was thinking. It's like, it's the same argument I would make for, like, why I still like an old-fashioned alarm clock over a phone, and that as like alarm clock. When a phone is everything, because, like, your phone is everything. It's your contacts, it's you contact people, it's your internet, it's your notepad, it's your alarm clock, it's your clock, it's your weather app, it's everything.
It's your girlfriend.
It's your girlfriend if you're, if you buy the right peripheral devices. But the point is, like,
why can't it be your boyfriend?
I guess it can.
Peripheral devices.
You have to get the DLC.
Yeah, you have to pay $5.99 for the voice pack.
That'd be more of an accessory, let's be honest.
True.
Well, hey, you gotta accessorize. But the thing that always was weird to me is, like, if your phone is everything, it's also, like, it cannot specialize in doing one thing very well. if that makes sense. Like, if it's like an alarm clock is really good at being an alarm clock. You rely on it
fucking
being
better be.
Like, your alarm clock will not die after 24 hours, or you have to charge it again. The same reason the Apple Watch is like fucking ridiculous.
Well, I mean, most alarm clocks, you plug it into a wall, let's be honest, so you don't have to charge it. So yes, it does have a dependency.
Sure,
unless
but
the power
like,
goes out.
my point is, when I buy a console, I don't want to fuck around with a bunch of different things that barely work and require and can, like, because the more parts you add to something, the more likely it's gonna break.
Yes,
and that's why when you buy a PS1, you put in the disc and it plays the disc. You buy a PS2, oh, you can also do music DVDs on it. So it's like, if you're looking for specialized hardware that is very specific to one activity, like playing games, then consoles sound like a great idea. But now that they've become like this complicated media station with all this other shit, I feel like that also contributes to how easily it can break. How many times has a game crashed on you for no fucking reason?
Many.
Yeah.
Like, on a PS4 versus a PS1. I've had a PS1. I think I've had an emulator lock up on me once. I've never had like an actual PS2 or PS1 lock up on me. And I've played the shit out of JRPGs before and left it on overnight. But yeah, no, I guess to summarize, I come from a background where if I want to do complicated things where I have full control over it, I'm used to PC. And if I want to go something that's kind of already, made for me and streamlined, I want a console. Because the other thing too is, that's an important point I feel, is if you're going to have DRM and limitations, those DRM and limitations shouldn't be such that I am dependent on them to do everything else that it gives me the option to, but on their terms. I am never going to treat my PS4 or my Xbox One as a like immediate center that I also stream from and do all this other shit, because OBS does it better. I'm never going to treat my PS4 like a computer or my Xbox One like a computer. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because the DRM prevents me from me doing everything I want to it. Because like, you customize your computer, you fully fine-tune it to what you want. PS4, Xbox One, it is completely up to the people who made that fucking thing what you can do. Everything you can do on it has already been decided and pre-programmed for you. There is not as much freedom. And I hate that, because you're being advertised this, oh, you get all this freedom, but you don't actually own anything. You can't actually change anything. You have to buy wallpapers and fucking character avatar shit.
I fucking hate that shit.
Like, I have to pay $2.99 for a Mass Effect 3 wallpaper. Like, what the fuck? So it just doesn't make any sense.
I paid that much for the game.
Yeah, I paid $3.
I paid $3.99 for Mass Effect 3. It was a flop.
I flipped it to the female title card, by the way, because that was cool. But anyway, my point is,
cheaper that way.
They either need to make it fully accessible, like a real computer, where you can have the full freedom to do what you want on it, or it needs to be simplified and serve a purpose, which is
bring back the Ouya. No.
Oh Lord.
You know what the most useful thing about the Ouya was?
An emulator?
That it fits neatly in a trash can.
That too.
It's part of Booyah.
There you go. I mean, you're paying $60 for a controller with the Ouya, I feel.
Which is the same price for a PS4 or Xbox One controller, so it's fine.
Right? But you get a console. Well, you get a little pretty brick that you can put stuff on. So.
My Ouya bricked itself recently, so I gotta.
God, why did you buy that?
Put it in
your house. I bought it when it came out for like $60. I was like, yeah, it's not bad or whatever. I was like, I wanted to play which I did. I played fucking Super Nintendo games on it before the mini classics were released.
Who's making all that noise?
Sorry, I was rolling my rim.
She was rolling her Ouya in the trash.
Perfect.
I was rolling up the rim.
It belongs.
No, but before the SNES Classic and the NES Classic and all that came out, that's what my Ouya was for.
Ouya.
For emulating games?
Yep.
By the way, that was another really fucking weird thing to me. Is I wanted to get the SNES Classic for my girlfriend because I was like, oh, it comes with a bunch of PS1 games, and that's I don't have to buy a PS1 and all the games. I just buy it. But then it's just a Raspberry Pi 3 ripoff thing, Arduino.
Well, that's how all of them are.
Yeah.
Right, but it's literally it's not even like actual hardware. It's literally just a shitty little, not shitty, but like it's like a baby computer with a bunch of ROMs on it, with a bunch of DRM and firmware, so you can't do anything yourself on it. Sold to you at a ridiculous price, and it doesn't even run that well. It's run at 50 frames because it's the PAL versions of the games.
Wait, you're talking about the PlayStation one, right?
Yeah, the PS1. Okay. I don't know about the SNES one.
I have the NES Classic. I have the NES Classic, and I plugged it into my computer because its charger or run cable is a USB, and it has like a little thing like a cell phone charger where you plug the USB into the charger, then put it into the wall to power it. I plugged my USB into the computer, which is, on Nintendo's part, a terrible decision. Why make that a USB? But not my point. My point is, since it is a USB, I plugged it into my computer, and I fucked with it. I fucked with my NES Classic. And now I did you know that thing can run Super Nintendo games?
I did not. I mean, I imagine that they put some hardware that's more than necessary. So
they the chip inside the NES Classic, its memory is like quite a few hundred megabytes, and they used up like 15 megabytes out of that 300 something. So I just went on there, I plugged it in, and I have a few hundred games now. I have every game not installed on it because like 300 megabytes can only hold so much. But I have every SNES and NES game in existence, and I just plug it into my computer and I swap them out.
Is it flash memory? Can you just put it on a flash stick, or is it or do you have to go through USB?
You have to go through USB. It's a specific program you have to download too. But I changed my menu. I changed my menu music. I swapped my games out, and I have like every freaking Castlevania from NES to SNES on there.
Castlevania has been in the dumpster for a while, and Hideo Kojima, while he's a great, awesome developer, I don't think Lords of Shadow was the comeback we needed. So
keep on derailing.
Just keep on riding that train.
Shaun's the worst conductor in the world.
We'll talk about Castlevania.
Speaking of trains, we got some gaming news. Resident Evil 0 is coming to the Switch.
All right, so let's talk about some positive things for digital. How's that sound?
It's cheaper. Great. There's better deals.
Wow,
you have it right away. You don't have to leave the house.
Wow.
I could go on.
Wow.
You can easily delete it instead of, well, I guess smashing with a hammer is much more fulfilling psychologically.
You can't throw it out the window, but, I mean...
You can smash the console. No.
You can't, like... Oh, no, it prevents suicide because you can't take the disc out and cut your throat open if you're stuck on a
perfect example of the digital... something good about digital.
Saves lives.
Oh, yeah, but... So, we're all sitting here, and me and Shaun are playing the shoe sting with the World War II, and everybody's like, what are you guys doing? Because we're like having fun and being retarded. And we're like, we're playing this game. It's on sale right now. So Nick, within 5 minutes, can purchase this game and join us after like 2 days.
It's a little bit more than
after
5
installing it for 4 hours.
The 33 gigabyte.
He doesn't. You don't have to go to the store. You don't have to be like, okay, I'll be right back. Go to the store. And hopefully they'll have a copy and blah blah blah. And then you have to pay full price because it's not on sale at EB Games or GameStop or whatever.
I mean,
and then you come back and you still have to wait for your fucking disc to install anyways.
Yeah.
By that time, we're like, hey, we're done. We're done with this game. Like, we're not playing anymore. Now we're playing Resident Evil.
And then I go to the store and they don't have Resident Evil because.
Again, I have not seen one single store that sold Umbrella Corps. Shaun would not.
That's a good thing.
Shaun would not have been able to have help to do his machinima because I wouldn't have been able to purchase it, and that would have delayed the machinima even more.
That is a good digital thing.
Yeah, machinima.
I think that
digital is good because it helps me with my work. He says
it helps.
And I mean, you know, it's really nice to not have to swap out discs every time you want to play something new. So I mean,
you still have to do that with like MGS1.
Well, this morning was an example of that, Shaun. What? I want to play Tomb Raider, but I don't want to get up and put the disc in.
Well, no, like it seems like a stupid petty thing, but like, you know, I've got a couple games on my hard drive, and it's like I bounce back and forth between those, and like when I end up going to a game that I need to put the disc in, I'm just kind of like, oh fuck. Like sometimes I'll just be like, you know what, maybe I don't want to play that game, and then I go back to something else. Like it's a stupid, shitty, petty little thing, but like it's nice, it's convenient, it's a cool thing.
On that same note, like another thing is I watch a lot of DVD before bed or whatever. So I've got a show or a movie paused, and it's like the app, I can't think of the word, like goes to sleep kind of. Like it doesn't shut off the DVD app, but it just kind of puts it to sleep.
Yeah, it's a suspended state.
Yeah, it suspends the app. So it's like, okay, cool. So when I go back, it'll just keep playing. But now, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, I want to play a game. Like, I want to take a break from watching something, and I don't want to have to go back and find where the fuck I was. And the playback is garbage. So it's like, okay, I have to put a disc in to play my game. So it's going to lose my spot in my fucking show. There's like 7 episodes per disc. I don't remember which disc I'm on.
I think I have the perfect solution for the physical and digital thing.
Burn it all?
Burn it all. No, every game that's like actually like, you know, not like indie games, because I don't know how viable it is for them to print shit onto discs and boxes, but any game that is able to do that should be a physical copy with the entire game on the disc with no bullshit DRM, and it should come with a code for a digital backup copy on whatever code system you're getting.
That's what I said, you fuck.
Yeah, for the podcast.
And then, like, if patching was used more sparingly and specifically to polish up games rather than to fix them, like, that'd be a really cool tool. You know?
That would be nice.
Like, they could upgrade it a little bit, fix, like, minor things, glitches and things like that. Like, things that don't destroy the game, but, like, people find down the road that they can just, you know, make a quick little fix. Like, that would be cool. That'd be a good way to use that. But, like
changing a 0 to a 1 and on disc DLC.
Like, the fact that we use that as a crutch, like, we're taking a really useful tool and we're fucking hindering ourselves by overutilizing it. But, like, it could have uses, you know, it's a great idea. I just don't like how we're executing it. And then, like, for people who don't have space or dislike clutter, like, digital's a really nice option. Like, not everybody wants to decorate their place with a bunch of physical games and shit like I do. They just want to have access to their games on their system, and that's nice to have that option.
Stupid? Speaking of that, like, I only really buy the games if they're cheaper, if I'm there and it's like, oh, $5 for this. But, like, I only buy the games if they're Resident Evil or Tomb Raider, because those are the physical ones I actually want to collect. And it's like, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on the marketplace and buy a game before I'm gonna go to the fucking store and look for one. But then I just, like, looked over while you were saying that at, like, my 3 massive shelves full of DVDs, and I refuse to download movies. So I don't understand. Like, that's why I say I'm biased, because I'm like, it depends on what I want. Like, if I want to watch this movie right now, like, I'll find somewhere to stream it, but I'll fucking go buy it after to watch it over and over without, you know, having to look up the stream. So you should be able to do that with the game. Like, if you want to go out and buy the game,
here's the thing. Fine, your movies don't need patches.
Yeah, true.
Well, yeah, you do. You got to put a scene in here.
You don't have to install the shits when you fucking go to play it. For
yeah, you have to make sure to delete Will Smith out of every scene with the genie.
What if they? Holy shit! God. What if that was the What if they released, like, a movie and then, like, an hour after they released, like, shit, we got to redo the director's cut, and it's like patching a movie. You have to wait an hour for them to realign all the
alternate endings.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, $5.99 to the alternate ending to this fucking 2-hour movie. You just
don't even put that out there. Shut up.
Oh no, shit.
You're watching, like, Sophie's Choice, and then, like, right before the big fucking, like, moment where you find out what she chooses, it's like, internet connection is lost. We're
like,
to lobby.
Be like, purchase necessary. Please enter your credit card.
With physical media for movies, they don't need to do it, but with digital, they actually could if they wanted to take Suicide.
Don't give them ideas.
If they wanted to take Suicide Squad and make a director's cut and make it better, all they gotta do is just swap your licenses out of which version of the movie you own when they put out a new version.
They would never tell you that they did it.
Star Wars.
But like you get a better version of the movie.
True.
Yeah, just delete the movie altogether. There's
who did patch their movies? George Lucas.
It's the fucking Star Wars all over again, where people are like, oh, yeah, I like going back and watching those originals. It's like, no, but those are not the originals because they put in sock puppets without even noticing it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like George Lucas patched his movies plenty of times.
Yeah, and if that was happening nowadays,
and that went real well.
Sitting here with an old one, you're like, well, I kind of want to see what they did. But
George Lucas was the original day one patch.
Oh god, he started it all.
He started it way back on VHS.
A long, long time ago.
Back when they had to cut that shit up and literally fucking
copy paste.
Hey, But no, digital is convenient. No one, I mean, I feel like we can all agree to that. It's just some of us still prefer not to just have,
I like the choice. Yeah,
we prefer options.
And I would
if you want to play it, you play it. You want to buy it, buy it.
I'd be more accepting of it if either. Wow, I just smacked my microphone. I'd be more accepting of it if, like, one, they were either more public about what the fuck is going on, or ideally, if the digital version, you just own the shit. Like, fucking just give it to me.
You guys were saying that earlier with the, like, they should have a better disclaimer or something, because, like, going back to what Nick was saying, what I was saying, what you guys were saying is that, like,
what everybody was saying.
When you what everybody was saying back, you bought a console so you could put your fucking cartridge or whatever in it, and then you could play it. And you were like, I love playing this game because I'm playing this game and it's fun. But now it's like, I want to play a game, but I gotta read a fucking Bible first. Make sure I'm actually getting what I want, which I'm not, but I don't want to read it because it's a fucking Bible, so I'm just gonna play my game. And then, like, 10 years later, you're like, didn't I have a game here? Like, what happened? And they're like, well, did you read the fucking Bible? No? Well, that's your fault, not mine. I made the money, so I don't give a...
On the 8th day, God applied the patch to the world, and sin was ensured.
If you spend all that time reading the user agreement, like, it's not even convenient anymore, so why bother?
If they give you a physical user agreement,
wait, isn't that
while you wait for your game to download?
Cody, manual, which they don't have anymore in games.
Isn't that technically playtime according to you, Cody? Like, oh, you can read the end user agreement, get a little 2 extra hours out of your game.
You a contract that you have to fill out and send back.
No, remember you said, like, Destiny had a room or something where it's like, well, the room where you get to fuck around with the puzzle is part of the DLC.
Well, that's because it came in with the DLC.
Well, the end user agreement comes in with the game, so you get free stuff.
It's on the walls. You gotta walk around.
That is 2 separate things.
It's like you find tablets. It's like in Alan Wake. You gotta find the manuscript of the user agreement to finish the game.
Yeah, it's a secret mission. You can't beat the game without the user agreement, so you have to go find it. Press A.
Once you read it, it's like, oh, by the way, that's it.
Here's the thing. There's a difference, and here's how that could be implemented. If you had to read the user agreement, that's not in your game. Therefore, it doesn't come with the game. So therefore, it's not game time and part of the game. Now, if Destiny's
DLC,
yeah,
you have to pay money to accept.
Destiny came out with a patch, and they were like, "Hey, here's a bonus mission. Go find the user agreement, and you could pick it up and read it in game as an item." Then yes, it would be part of the game and count as playtime.
This sounds like some bullshit that Destiny would do.
The Taken user agreement.
Oh no.
The Taken user agreement. You mean the Taken game?
There you go.
You should go find the user agreement because it has
engrams in it.
It has fallen.
It has engrams, and when you read it, it says you do not own this engram.
Every time you equip it, it just unequips.
It's like you get like your regular engrams, your legendary engrams, your rare engrams, and your fucking useless Bible engrams.
It's like, they're like, man, the Bible engrams are the most rare in the game, and they're the most useful, but they can be taken away from me at any time during any update, and I won't have this engram anymore.
That starts to fall towards the loot boxes, which Shaun... I'm sure Shaun wants to save a whole other day for that.
Oh, yeah.
Join us next time on the Loot Box fucking podcast.
Oh, speaking of, how much did you love that picture of all the loot boxes at Walmart?
Wait,
oh god, that was beautiful.
It's a fucking
$30 in real life.
$30 boxes that you can buy at Walmart. There's like Super Nintendo. They like look like Nintendos. There's like
I see
Mario, and you get like socks.
Great. Thank you, Mom.
A little art book, mystery item. And I don't know, like a pencil or something. And you're paying $30 for a pencil, socks, and something you have no fucking clue what it is.
Could be a Lamborghini, could be Ash.
It's like, joke's on you. No, that said sock. The mystery item is the other sock.
No joke, after this, just to like break down every complex aspect ever, I'm going to try and make a video on this.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a video as well. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't touch on.
We're all going to be doing videos.
We totally fucking derailed.
You better be getting in the detail, because if you don't, I'm going to shit all over you.
Oh, I'm gonna.
We're going to feed the dirt.
The dirt has been fed.
I feel bad for Shaun.
He has no idea.
We have to show you this video because I think it's been long enough that you're like, what the fuck?
Shaun's not even a member of his own cult on his own server.
Well.
He's too busy with real life.
Are we wrapping this up now then?
Just like about. There was one more thing I wanted to just kind of not let people know, but like get out there. So once everything goes completely digital, the publishers are going to have more control over the price point, which is another problem. So physical games tend to go on sale to thin out inventory to make room for new stock on store shelves. But when that need goes away, publishers will have less need to drop prices on games, which could cause price drops to happen far less frequent.
I got a fix.
We just don't buy their games
and force them to do price drops.
But like, look at the price of digital games now. So I did a little bit of research. So Attack on Titan on PS3 on disc is $30. On digital, it's $50. Madden 17 on PS3 on disc is $3. Guess how much it is on digital?
50.
Close. $40. Bioshock.
See, I just got
Bioshock Infinite complete on PS3 on disc, $15. Digital, $65. That's a fucking problem. So, and
that is a problem.
None of these games are playable on PS4, by the way. These are strictly on PS3. They're not cross-buy or cross-compatible or anything. And there's better versions of these games on newer platforms, and these are still the prices that you're looking at. And that's with disc versions floating around. So what does that look like when that's not the case? When digital is the platform and they have full control over what that looks like, and there's no retailers to speak of that are carrying physical discs anymore. Like, this might be the opportunity.
That's a big what if, though.
It is, but look at the fucking prices. $65, that's more than you would pay for it.
Well, yeah, I'm not arguing about the prices. I'm just saying I doubt physical copies are going to be eliminated in our lifetime.
It depends on how this next generation goes. But like,
Manuals
just looking,
already disappeared.
Yeah,
Star Trek.
And half the fucking material in the cases. But
manual.
No, just like the physical plastic that they use. Like now there's like holes in it and shit. They're using less material. It's weird.
I want my plastic.
Give me my plastic.
No, I really do. It looks pretty. What else am I going to put on my shelf? Books?
It makes it look
cheaper. How to read.
but even that, like, no more manuals, less plastic. But do we see the prices go down? Nope. You know,
I mean, for physical,
and then they've been complaining about the cost of fucking developing games is so much more than it was. Blah blah blah. Well, like,
yeah, that has nothing to do with it. That's been debunked so many times.
Yeah, but it's still so. If they're saying shit like that, I mean, it is true. Like, they're making more money to compensate for games being more expensive to develop, so it's a non-issue. But again, when this is the market and they have full control over it, they could raise the cost of what games look like. We could be looking at $80 for a new game or whatever. They haven't raised the cost of games in a long time, and this would be prime real estate for them to do some shit like that. And you wouldn't fucking have an option, because what are you going to do? Just not buy it? Because that's your only option.
Right.
So, Shaun, I have a perfect solution to this digital regulation.
What's that?
I will sell you my digital copy of Call of Duty World War II for $5. Take that, sledgehammer!
That violates terms of service. They're going to pull the game from you.
How fucking economy works. We start selling each other our own fucking games, and then they'll be like, shit, we ain't making sales. Or, you know, piracy would just go up on everything, you know.
Piracy is great.
See, I just found this picture I was trying to think of, like, while we're talking, Shaun. It's just like, I feel like if you're, you know how you pre-purchase a big upcoming title? It shouldn't be the same price for the digital copy if you don't get to keep it that it is physical.
Yeah.
And this picture was that, like, somebody asked me if I was getting RE7, and I looked on fucking Steam, and it was $80 for just the game.
Well,
no disc.
Even if you got to keep it, even if you owned that game, it should still be cheaper because, again, they're not making
a disc. Yes.
Yeah, they're not dealing with distribution. They're eliminating the middleman. They don't have to worry about casing.
In which case, they should make it cheaper, or they should just charge you for everything that you would get in a disc without the actual disc for the price of the disc. So, like, this picture, it shows, like, the fucking deluxe edition of Resident Evil 7 includes everything, and it was like $120. Still not getting a disc. And it's on Steam, so I have no guarantee that my computer will run the goddamn thing. So So it's like, oh yeah, you just bought this really $120 game on Steam, but now you have to fucking buy an $800 computer because fuck you.
Here's the solution to fix everything before it's all digital.
Destroy the world.
Stop buying digital.
Stop buying shit.
Say the word ass.
But no, seriously.
Blow in the direction of the
buy
typhoon.
Physical. That's the moral of the story. It fixes everything.
Anthem has gone on sale multiple times. Fallout 76 has gone on sale for half off within a week. Stop buying shit. You can get cheap stuff, and it doesn't have to be digital. Quit buying shit day one.
Stop pre-ordering.
Well, yeah,
well, you know what? Here's the thing, especially you used Anthem as an example. Anthem is a games as service. So if nobody buys that shit within the first week or so of release, they're going to immediately stop supporting that game. So when you buy it, guess what? Have fun playing nothing because they're not going to fucking pay for the servers for a game that nobody's playing.
Yeah, but the next game that comes out, they'll go, we should fix our problem.
Yeah, true.
You have to let some games flop in order for companies to be like...
Nobody thinks long-term like that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the solution. Quit buying shit. Educate yourself first, then decide what you want to buy. And if you... people.
I just picture, like, fucking Capcom sitting at a table in EB Games with, like, all these copies of RE2 Remake and, like, crickets, and they're like, why is no one here? Steve, you got
We did what you guys wanted for 20 fucking years.
Yeah, we're all like, oh, don't get it on day one. It's garbage.
It's Wait not for the fact that it's garbage. It's just that they'll go, oh, well, we can do this. Because if the Capcom's at that table with their many unsold copies, they're gonna go, how are we gonna draw people in?
Let's bring the prices down.
Yeah,
Umbrella Core 2.
And somebody's gonna come out with a T-shirt that says, "We don't do it.
We don't do it.
We can't do it."
If you come buy a copy of RE2 Remake today, we'll include a free copy of fucking Alien Marine whatever.
Oh no!
No,
I don't want that.
We didn't make this game, but we'll give it to you because the creators didn't want.
You get a free loot box. No, you get a free loot box, and
that might include socks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a mystery object.
You get a hat for Leon, but you might not be able to actually wear it.
Has anyone here actually done Loot Crate?
I have.
Loot Crates.
Isn't it okay? That started before loot boxes in games, right? That was like way before.
I'd have to do research. I can't confirm.
I can't confirm nor deny.
Because like. Wasn't Loot Crate like the dumbest shit to do back in the day too? Because like all you got were like either plastic toys and useless shit for 20 fucking bucks.
You just said you liked plastic.
I like plastic that fits on my shelf and encases my games, not garbage toys.
Here's the thing with Loot Crate, and because I was a Loot Crate subscriber for quite a few months, Loot Crate gives you good shit, and they tell you what the theme is. It's not always random. They don't just go, oh, here's a black box. They tell you every month. They go, this month is zombie theme. And I go, cool. Then I Loot Crate that month. And if next month they go, they go, next month is Mass Effect theme. I'm not a Mass Effect fan. And I go, well, I'm going to cancel my Loot Crate and I'm going to see what the next month is after that. And they send you, and for the price that you pay for, I feel actually some pretty good stuff. Like they send you shirts every month, fucking pop figures, and I love collecting those. And oh my god, there's so much good shit in Loot Crate. I kid you not. Pop
figures are great.
I like shirts.
Okay, and we're gonna wrap things up. We fucking derailed for a quarter.
We're talking about clothes now.
Yeah. But yeah,
versus synthetic.
Like I mentioned before, we'll go into updates. I'm still trying to get over the flu garbage, so I didn't really make a whole lot of progress on anything. I did, however, start diving back into Duel episode 13, so I wrote in a few changes and extended a few scenes on that, and hopefully this week I can start focusing on the final bit of casting and follow up with the actors that have their lines. So progress is happening, and hopefully I won't be sick next week. What about you, Jazz? What are you working
on? Pretty much the same thing as always, because I haven't really worked on it. Just episode 3 that.
See, progress is happening. You can't say.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm still working on that mystery project. I've been working on it a lot more. It's almost done editing, which is great. But again, you need to get your voice back and not be sick.
Hopefully next week.
Because you can voice the main character person. And yeah, I've been playing a lot more games, so I'm going to be doing that. And now I have to read books. So, yeah.
You got to read the terms of
user terms and
user
agreements.
terms.
No,
wow.
I found a book today and I want to read it, so my projects are going to go on hold.
Oh wow, you're the worst. How about you, Nick? What do you have going on?
I got lots of stuff planned. I got 2 Let's Plays. One of which is going to be Resident Evil 2.
Beautiful.
Not the new one, the old one, and then a new one.
Bitch. Oh, that's better. Do them both.
I will. I have some tutorial videos I want to make for the HTC VR2 because my time with it has taught me that it's really fun to learn about, but there's some stuff you kind of have to sit there and figure out, and it's annoying. And I feel like if I made a comprehensive video on everything you need to stream any console and show actually it doing so with like different peripherals and options, I feel like that would be nice for people.
Nice.
Might be reviewing a keyboard here soon because tech stuff's nice and all that. And yeah, that's kind of it. But slowly trying to get back into streaming and whatnot and making videos. So
awesome, sounds cool. Cody, what do you have coming up?
Might quit doing Let's Plays.
Wow, the opposite.
Focus on, yeah, might because I've posted them for about 3 months straight so far, and my other more effort videos get more views. So I might just start putting more effort into those, like you've seen parts of that or a part of that Rage review, and I posted a dumb Minecraft video.
That was amazing.
I made 2 of those, and the second one isn't uploaded yet, but I have it.
Now.
Oh, the second one's way better, but I'm doing a little bit more machinima stuff and switching from Let's Plays to reviews, and I gotta get out of here because my stomach is about to explode, and I'll be back. So wrap up without me, bye.
Bye.
But you're the rapper.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's the worst.
Well, why?
All right, guys. That does it for this very special episode of the Wordcast until we, derailed. Hopefully, we helped you to better understand what it means to go digital or to not go digital and what the future of gaming potentially could be if we continue to fund digital. Whether that is for the better or worse is up to you, so make your purchases wisely. Also,
I think basically go ahead.
No, you.
I was gonna say basically we just showed them point blank that you're gonna get angry regardless of what you choose.
What? I don't give a shit.
Nobody wins. Nobody wins. So everybody wins.
Don't buy anything.
If you like digital, I mean, go for it. You do you. If you understand the ins and outs and you want to go that way, go for it.
Yeah.
Who am I to stop you?
Nobody but if wins, you support the streaming thing, fuck you. You're ruining games.
Totally fuck you.
That's not gonna last. So
you should go physical. I've made my reasons very public. If you guys agree, I say support that. If you don't, well, get fucked. But you have,
You can't be wrong. But if you're against, get the fuck out of here.
It's totally up to you. No judgment.
No judgment. Get fucked.
The dirt will be fed regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But also, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject, so let us know in the comments. Until next time, let me hit my microphone for the second fucking time as I die of sickness. And get fucked. Bye.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.